Hey everybody, Jimmy from Superpath here. Really excited to dive into this series of quick tutorial videos on ConvertKit. This is a tool that I have been personally using for, 3 or 4 years now. Really enjoyed it. Found it to be extremely useful and kind of just like a valuable tool in my kind of no code toolkit. ConvertKit is also our newest partner. Their support helps us keep this community free. So really thank them for that. If you do want to try ConvertKit out, there will be a link below this video where you can do that. Again, check out this quick series of videos. We're going to be talking about some of the basic features of a newsletter tool, stuff you'd expect, and then also some of the more advanced stuff that just helps with like automation and personalization and things like that. So anyways, thanks so much to Angel also. She's the creator educator over at ConvertKit for joining me to create this series of tutorials. She's awesome. I'm also going to link to her Twitter if you want to go follow her. And the content team from ConvertKit, made up of Angel and another woman named Danny Stewart, will be joining us for an AMA on Friday, November 12th. I'll have details about that. You can add it to your calendar. Come hang out. We'll be talking about the way that they approach their editorial planning, lead generation. They have a series of ebooks we'll be talking about and a bunch of other things. Their content is really good. So we're just going to sort of unpack like how it actually happens. Okay, I will get out of the way now. Thanks again to ConvertKit and to Angel for being great partners. Hope you enjoyed this video. And speaking of kind of like powerful features, the next one we're going to talk about is automation, which I feel like is really where a lot of the magic happens.
Absolutely.
I would imagine for a lot of ConvertKit customers, it's where the money is made too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
the follow-up emails, the sequences, the, stopping one, sending them to the other, sending follow-ups when folks go dormant, like all the things that kind of create retention, very specific calls to action based on behavior, et cetera. I mean, it's easier, much better when you explain it than I do. I have a number of automations set up doing different things. That's like one of the best things that happens because like we actually earn revenue through some of those sequences, and they just run in the background. I don't even think about them anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I always try to say, if you are looking to make money on autopilot, this is a way to do it. Like we're talking about getting to a point where you can go to sleep and you wake up, oh, you have a couple, extra dollars, $100, $1,000, whatever it is that you're selling, because you've set up an automation in the background to do a lot of the work for you, which is pretty sweet. So the automations feature is available in our paid plan. ConvertKit has free, paid, and what's called a Creator Pro plan, as I showed in a previous demo here. And the automations is available in this one, giving you the opportunity to set up what we like to call automations, but also referred to as email funnels. Okay. So to set that up, you're going to now head to automate. And you can kind of see we're going on order here, right? Talked about growing. We talked about sending with the newsletter. Now let's take it another step further and automate a bit of that process. So I'm going to head to automate. And in this demo, I want to specifically focus on visual automations. These are all the previous ones that I've created, a lot of them just for demo purposes. But this is what the visual looks like here, hence visual automations. You are bringing subscribers down through a specific journey automatically. And a lot of what creators do is that they will leverage automations, as we mentioned, to help them sell, to pitch products and services. So for you to do that, just head to new automation. And then when you do, we do have a couple of templates for you to choose from. So if you're like, I don't really know where to get started, can y'all just kind of give me something and I'll write in my own stuff? Yes, this is available for you, especially dependent on what kind of automation you want to build to send for you. Okay. But if not, you can just create from scratch, head to create automation. And basically what this is it's asking you, how do you want to kick this automation off? And there's a lot of different things you can do, but especially if you're just starting out with ConvertKit, you might want to start an automation by connecting an email sequence to the landing page you created. So for example, we can click on, let's start this automation with subscribers joining a form. The minute they join the former landing page I created, then I want another step to happen. So make sure it's on joins a form And you can create a brand new form or landing page here, or you can head to the drop down and choose any form or landing page that you might have created in the past, and then click add event. Okay. So we have this as our first step, which is subscribers coming into this specific landing page. Now it's asking us, what do you want to happen next after they subscribe? So if we're talking about sending an email series, an email sequence, which is a variety of emails sent out for you on the days you choose, just head down to that plus button, make sure it's on action, choose email sequence, and then from there you can type in a brand new sequence name. So let's just say welcome email series, and then click add action. When I click on this sequence that I just created, it'll redirect me to start creating these emails. So on the far right, it's giving you the opportunity to add in as many emails as you want in this sequence. So each box is a different email. So in each one, you're going to want to write out your email content, just like we did in the previous demo when we were talking about newsletters. And you can choose, click on that content block to add in creative components that you have the opportunity to, just as I showed you previously. And you can choose when you want this email to send from the previous step. Okay. And when you click on it, you can even see send email 1, 2, 3 days after the last email. Depends on the cadence that you want here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I
now,
like
when
you can not send on Saturday and Sunday too. I uncheck
yes,
Saturday and Sunday on all of our sequences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do that a lot as well. So when you head to settings, that's what you can do. Like if you're like, oh, these can send on any day, depending on when people sign up, because of course this is automated. So if someone signs up on a Wednesday, Friday, anything like that, you can uncheck that so that they don't send on a weekend, as Jimmy was talking about, or any other day that you don't want for that matter, which is pretty cool. Okay. So I'll head to update. And then from there, you are going to be able to, let's head back to content. You're going to be able to publish every email. And you want to make sure that it's on publish and not draft, because otherwise it won't send to the subscriber's inbox. So make sure it's published. And that's it. Like that is literally it. You set it up. It's good to go. A lot of people, what they do to set up their welcome email is maybe take the first email, send it automatically, immediately, and welcome them into your community. Let them know who you are and what they can expect since they've joined your specific community. And maybe the second email a day or two later is giving them another freebie or additional tips. Maybe the third email is telling a story about you and who you are. Maybe the fourth email is a call to action to a blog or a podcast that you want them to check out, and so on and so forth, all the way up until you want to pitch them on a product or service. But notice here that you don't want to use the welcome series to sell in that first email that automatically sends. Give the subscriber some time to build trust and relationships based off of what you send them, leading up to linking in your product or service and letting them know what exactly it is, which is pretty cool. So just a little tip. I know I'm throwing in some business tips in between these demos here, but I always find that super helpful.
It's good. And also one thing I've set up before too, are link triggers. So like if someone clicks a specific link, it may actually send them off into a different sequence because they've shown intent on some very specific thing.
Exactly.
And I have a number of these set up. It's helpful. I can run through. There's two automations in particular that I have set up for SuperPath that maybe folks are interested in, just to see like how I am using this stuff in the real world.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'll walk through two different ones. One that I like is we have an ebook that we sell. I use Podia to handle products, membership, stuff like that. You can actually use ConvertKit for a number of those things as well, though. So we have a landing page built out where folks can purchase the ebook. Podia does not have an option for like a free preview. So I kind of hacked this together on my own with ConvertKit. So let's say you go through the landing page and you're like, I'm not quite sold. There's an option for a free preview. This is a Podia form. Podia uses a Zapier integration to connect to ConvertKit. So I can say I have a tag set up in ConvertKit. So when someone fills out this form, it will label them with the tag ebook preview. And then I have automation set up to do a few things with that. So one is just if they request, the tag is called ebook first chapter. So if someone fills out that form, they're automatically tagged ebook first chapter. And then that will trigger the sequence called ebook free preview, which is this one over here. So it's a 3 email sequence. This button that allows them to download 1 chapter of this 10 chapter book. And then we have upsells after that. So like in the second email, it's like telling you a little bit more about the book, the link back to the landing page. And then I think in the last one, there's a little discount in case folks are still interested. So that's one that's been super powerful. A lot of folks do opt for the free preview before purchasing it, even though it's only $19. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel like, why not have this? Because if it's either $0 or $19, I'd rather spend, it took me an hour maybe to set this up. And now I have this running in the background and it converts some percentage of those would be $0 folks into $19 folks.
Yes.
So that's been really powerful. And then another one we have set up, which is a little more complicated, but also very powerful. When folks join our Slack community, which happens 400 times a month, we get somebody coming and signing up for Slack community. They're filling out this form. This is an Airtable form embedded in our site. So all this info goes into an Airtable database. They also have the option to subscribe to our newsletter here. So if they click the yes button, that also uses Zapier to tag this subscriber in ConvertKit, and then that will add them onto our newsletter list. Anyone who fills out this form will get dropped into another sequence, which is called Slack welcome email. So these folks all get tagged CMCG. That used to be the name of the community before we changed it, but this is already set up. So I just have left it that way. Anyone who fills out the form gets tagged with Slack sign up, and then also starts getting this sequence of emails, which is a 5-day thing. It just welcome to the community. Here's our community guidelines. Check them out. Then there's like a quick start guide that shows you some of the most popular channels. Then there's one about like, here's how you could use the community to find new jobs, et cetera, et cetera. You can kind of imagine how that goes. And then of course there's calls to action later on for folks who want to maybe sign up for our paid membership, get the ebook, post a job, or whatever. Those are our different revenue streams. So we do eventually kind of send folks off in that direction. But this is probably my favorite one because we get 400-ish people signing up a month. This is always going in the background. So one, it drives engagement to the group, right? 2, it makes people feel welcome and like helps them understand like what their next step should be in the community, like post an intro, for example, read the community guidelines or whatever. And then it's actually driving revenue because we're starting to introduce people to some of the other offerings that we have besides just the Slack community. So these have been super powerful. And I love hacking together with Zapier and Airtable and Podia and Squarespace, which is what we use for our website, because sometimes it just allows you to get like super functionality. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like the form that we use is like, you could build a form in ConvertKit. I kind of prefer to have it in here just because, sorry, I don't even know my own website. I kind of prefer to have it here because then this lives in a database where I can then run analysis on it. And I use that for our advertisers. So I can say like, you know, of the people who have signed up, this many work in B2B, this many work in B2C. Anyways, so I could go on about this, but this has been really helpful, really powerful. And now that it's all just like up and running very smoothly, I never have to think about it.
So good. I love that. And that is the whole point there, right? Where you set it up, it runs smoothly, and then you don't have to think about it. I myself have, I know one automation in particular that I created 2 years ago, still works to this day. And sometimes I forget that it's even there, but it's doing the work for me to bring in subscribers, to send those emails, and to pitch them later on a product or service or anything like that. I also love how you are offering a free preview before you pitch them the sale, whether it be $19 or $1,900. And I feel like that's where a lot of creators kind of get confused where they're like, well, isn't the whole purpose of email to make money, to generate that additional income? It's a part of it. It can help you, but also a part of that entire email marketing journey is to build trust. And it takes some time to get there. And one of the best things that you could do to build trust is by what Jimmy showed you, which is to give them a freebie, give them a free preview, let them know all the value that they'd be getting by first offering a freebie related to your product or service. That can definitely do wonders in pitching the sale to them when they're ready.
Totally. Totally. That makes me think of something kind of interesting here, which is that, there's a sort of a class of folks that I would call like professional bloggers, folks like Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income and like Nathan, founder of ConvertKit, like folks who, because they earn revenue in multiple ways, it's really important that they have a bunch of automations and sequences running at all times, because they could be earning money from a $19 ebook or from a $2,000 coaching product or driving folks to courses or apps or whatever. So they're always making sure they cover their bases. In my experience, SaaS companies do a really poor job of this kind of thing. They have an onboarding sequence for folks who start a free trial, but those sequences tend not to be very sophisticated. And also they only are pointing people towards a single call to action, which would be like, get the trial or upgrade to the app. And they sort of tend to lose sight of like all the other ways that you could keep people engaged if they're not ready to buy right now.
Yes.
Let alone selling them other things, which I think SaaS companies almost never do, but could. We'll talk about that actually in a minute when we talk about paid newsletters. But why not drive them to an ebook that's paid? You know what I mean? If you believe your content's really good, you actually can charge for it, or send them to webinars that are paid, or send them to webinars that are free, but send them somewhere rather than nowhere. And so when I started Superpath, I kind of wanted to pull some of like the SaaS mindset and some of the professional blogger mindset and kind of like mix those two things together. And ConvertKit's been a great tool for that, because I find so much more inspiration and great examples from the creator or professional blogging community than I do from the SaaS side. And then I sort of apply the SaaS mindset to like building recurring revenue, for example, what I mean? Driving folks towards these like higher price things. So anyways, I kind of to get to the point there after a very kind of long-winded buildup, I think that SaaS companies have a lot to learn from the professional blogging / creator community. And I think using a tool like ConvertKit actually makes it pretty easy to adapt that mindset, because like that's who ConvertKit is. That's where the company started. And there's so much great inspiration, so many great examples that you can find and then kind of apply for yourself.
That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. It means a lot to us as a company, because we prefer for creators to know that we're a marketing platform built for creators by creators. So as Jimmy was saying, our CEO, Nathan Barry, who started the company, is a creator himself, right? He started off in a lot of different areas, one of them being blogging and things of that nature. So many team members run their own side hustles. They'll create, they'll design, they'll coach, they'll do art, so like such a variety of creations. And we use ConvertKit for a lot of those side hustles or endeavors. And it helps us understand what creators in today's world genuinely need out of a SaaS company, out of email marketing, out of marketing in general, anything like that. Because we use it ourselves, and we're able, I mean, there's been so many times where I'm like, you know what, we should have this, because I'll try it out in my business and I'm like, oh, this wasn't working as I wanted to. And we can bring that up and we can kind of see if other creators feel the same way and make changes wherever necessary. So that's what we're here for, and we love it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, there you go. Thanks again, Angel. And thanks again to ConvertKit for being an official Superpath partner. We really appreciate their support. Again, if you want to go check out ConvertKit, use the link below. I'm a huge fan of the tool. I've been using it for years before this partnership ever became a thing. So I genuinely believe that it's probably the best email tool out there. So go check it out. Thanks again, and take care, everybody.